questions on some budgets that you guys have already done, I've watched the tapes and stuff. So, and going through some of the numbers. So I've got a list, I'm gonna stay on track and let's get through these.
Yep. Listen up, please.
On the CEO budget.
Bob?
On the CEO budget, there was, under dues went, and these are small numbers, but it's really the principle of how the numbers come up with. So it was at 250, and the budget increased to 450. And I didn't hear any discussion, nothing about that. And the selectmen's, I haven't seen the minutes for this meeting, because they haven't been posted yet on the web, but the selectmen's meeting, the reason for the increase was membership to ICC.
That's correct. Right.
Which is $135. So the budget increased by 200, but yet the membership is only 135. That's kind of one question. The second question is, if you actually looked at his dues that he uses.
We have it at 350. We changed it to 350.
Okay, that's fine. I still gonna shoot. So if you look at the dues that he currently has, he's got two. He's got $35 for Maine, and the new one at $135 for ICC, and my math, that adds up to 170. So again, the 250 budget was more than enough to cover that. So why does it have to increase? In fact, in 2016, money was taken out of that line item and put someplace else. And this is the issue, is that if you go over in a bunch of these line items with all the departments, not just CEO, I'm just using that as an example, you can see all this money moving all over the place. We got an extra couple $100 here, because we overspent here, we can move it there. And again, as Ben had mentioned in one of the meetings, there should be some line item accountability, even though we don't budget that way. There should be line item accountability.
Yeah,
So
right.
again, these are the questions I have before.
People on the committee,
Before
please
your committee,
listen to those questions, because those are the ones that we would be looking into.
So the other part of that would be, the question is, do we need a subscription to ICC? And ICC is a code, and one of the reasons that they provide training and he gets updates for the codes. Well, you have to understand, is partly you have to understand what's going on. If you don't understand, then you just take that at face value. But we don't enforce ICC. We enforce MUBEC, which is Maine. Maine has adopted the 2009 ICC codes, but the 2009. We're already at 17. So ICC keeps updating, but we don't. Maine doesn't. They adopt them. They're actually, I think, right now looking at adopting 2000. I think they're right now looking at adopting 2015. Right, but my point is that what is he getting out of belonging to ICC for $135 that he's not getting from belonging to the Maine building code?
Point taken.
All his training is done at Maine. Okay? All his codes, when they're updated, are at Maine, not ICC. We're not sending him to training in Texas for an ICC convention. So my point is they're really in need. Now you can say it's only $135, and yeah, it's nice to have, but so went a subscription to Penthouse, which is only maybe $20, $25.
How do you know how much it is?
So my point is that no, but you understand my point. It's not,
I do.
so,
Yeah, you guys can look.
it's a question, I don't know, it's just a question, and maybe that question should have been asked by the selectmen, but I don't know who should have asked, I just think the question should have been
Okay,
asked.
next.
Next, and actually I saw this on the current year, there was a line item on 1/5 of 2017 that he used the deputy or whatever CEO, but it was on, the date was the exact same date that he was paid, so there was double coverage. And I thought the coverage was only for when he's out. So I had a question.
Could you start that again with the line and everything? I'm sorry.
So basically, if you go to,
Fire.
on the current, on the
CEO.
CEO, if you go to page 1 of the current year, fiscal year expenses,
Okay.
you'll see on 1/5/17, there was a payroll distribution of the normal amount of $717.50. If you look below that, under assistant deputy, same date, there was a payroll distribution for $120.
Weekly payroll would probably be the answer to that.
And then maybe weekly payroll, so that's one question. I just had a question, there was a double entry, so I didn't know. So that was one question. The other part of that question is, there was no corresponding payroll tax for the deputy.
And that's something I actually asked when I mentioned that for this year's budget, you look at prior year budget.
Now, I don't know if it's,
It's not-
I don't know if it's a stipend, I don't know if maybe if it was too low of an amount.
Maybe it is
I'm
a
just-
stipend and I'm not.
I'm just saying,
sure.
it's just a
No.
question, it's just a question.
No, it's a payroll.
It's just a question, that's all I have. It's just- Looking through that, it's a question that came to my mind.
It's a
Okay, so
large
there's
enough,
two payroll
large enough
taxes.
amount of money, the taxes should have been taken out.
There's two payroll taxes for
on that
1.5.
Are they?
So-
There are two.
So there's one for $42.12, I'm assuming that's Mike's, and the other one, $9.85.
So that would be correct, yes.
Yep, so payroll
Okay,
taxes.
okay.
will take
They
those.
used the right.
So we got that.
The next question was actually on page 2 of that report, and this may just be a,
Can I interrupt you for 1 second? Did you have something you wanted to say?
Yes, you're on your CEO, yes, you're trying to outline that they're getting paid twice. Yes, they were that day, because I believe the CEO was in class, either in Bangor or Augusta, something like that.
It-
And
It's not,
his assistant was here in the
Okay,
office.
okay, again, it was just a question, that's all, I mean,
That's why you have two on the same date.
I remember that when it happened.
Okay,
On
page 2.
on page 2 of the current one,
Yep.
there's a fuel reimbursement.
Mhm.
But yet I don't believe we reimburse fuel, we only reimburse mileage. Now, that may just be a clerical error, and it really was mileage, but it says fuel reimbursement. And so I didn't know, again, a question.
Should be mileage.
Again, it should be, but again, I don't know if that was just clerical or not. So it's just a question.
Okay.
Oh, there it is.
On 811.
I did have a question, and if you look at a previous year in 2016, if you look at the payroll taxes, the payroll taxes tend to be pretty standard, a certain amount.
Oh, we know. about that.
No, but yet, I'm saying not, but in the current year, the numbers are really different. And so, but if it's by state, it's mandated, we're not talking about budgets, it's mandated 7.65.
Yes.
So why isn't it, so when he gets paid the same amount every week or whatever, why isn't the payroll tax the same amount every week? Why does the payroll tax vary?
so.
I don't know. Maybe there's a good explanation.
That's a question to ask the treasurer.
Well, I can't, I guess, I bring it up to these guys, they can forward it up to the treasurer, but
That's gonna be.
when I look through this, that's a question I have.
That's a question.
I don't know, there may be a reasonable explanation, I don't know.
Probably is.
So again, going through this, and this is the current fiscal year, this is actually on page 4. So 2 questions, or two thoughts. One, we have shirts for CEO of $186.48.
100 and what?
Okay, shirts, $186 worth of shirts. Okay, so I don't know that we're doing shirts for employees now. This is probably more of a selectman's question, but we're buying shirts. I mean, I know we buy safety boots for transfer stations because they're steel-toed. And we have a certain amount that we reimburse, $75, and that's it. So they can get a $200 pair of boots, and they only get $75. But I don't know why we don't have uniforms anywhere else. We're not doing shirts for road crew. So I don't know why. So that's one question. The other question is, you can say it's the CEO's fault, but when you're putting shirts under books, I don't care who it is, the treasurer should know better.
Is it under
Hey,
books?
it's under books. Shirts doesn't belong under books.
What?
So that's where it's wrong. Okay?
Well, wait, in his, it says Title 11 and Code Enforcement, so maybe he thought if you were reading it, that's where it belonged.
So again, I'm just saying is that may be where, and this is where I think you can throw it on the department head to put it in the right department, but it also belongs on the treasurer's responsibility to say, hey, this is a no-brainer. Those aren't books.
Right.
So maybe supplies of some sort, because they're not books. So,
Okay.
but those are 2 questions. I don't know why because this sets a precedent. In my mind, this sets a precedent. Why can't fire department get their own shirt now? Or rescue get their own, EMS get their own shirt?
They do.
They do.
Do they pay for
They
them?
pay for their own.
No, they don't.
No,
No,
they're
they
on the
don't.
list.
They,
No, they don't
well,
pay
they,
for 'em.
let me just clarify, because, no, they get 1 hoodie and 1 t-shirt, and if they want additional, they have to
They
pay
get
for
'em.
their own.
But they get them.
Right.
They get them, yeah.
Right.
And how much are we paying $150 for those?
400 and something.
Yeah, but for
For-
33 people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, we're paying $186 for one person. So I
Okay,
think,
I-
it depends on the.
There is no, law, no ordinance, whatever the
No,
word
you
would
can't,
be.
we can
that
spend
says
money.
We do this, we don't do that, we do, you know.
Right.
It's
I
not
think-
clear.
What I'm saying is, he hasn't done
I
any books, he
understand what you're
hasn't also
saying.
doesn't have any books this year, so do we really need a budget item for books?
Probably
Right.
not.
Maybe we need a budget item
Yeah.
for books.
Well, he was talking
Yeah,
about
we did
that
make
was
a
his
budget.
subscription.
Excuse me, can we, one at a time, what is, Jared?
He did mention
Yes,
books, he
yes.
mentioned 3 of them.
He needs
Because we
books.
talked about.
He needed books.
Right,
And then we
yeah.
increased that to 4.
That's correct.
I will say that most books you can get online, and that's probably what your dues and subscriptions allow you for online
That's
access to all
probably what
the
I
books.
think the ICC was, to be
Yeah.
quite honest with you,
Yeah, I
to
think
get
you're
certain
right.
updated materials and have the most current code books.
But no, it's not, you don't, there is no most current. 2009 is it. You can buy a 2016 code book, but that's not what we're enforcing.
This is what he gave us that he's wearing.
Yeah, we are,
That's just
we
part
are,
of it.
that's the safety code, yeah, there's.
There's several.
But I don't know if that's online, I'm just saying there's a lot of books that are online, I don't know if that is personally, but I'm saying.
And he said that if he didn't have the current information, he could be liable for a lawsuit, opening the town up for a lawsuit. So
Okay.
that's why he wants the current books.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. So, what I'm looking at is if you can purchase them online, if he's telling you he needs that ICC membership to purchase it online and have it online, then why are we having a budget for books? Do we
Because I
need
thought he
both
said we had to have a
online
copy
and
in the
books?
office or something.
I can answer that question.
Okay, good.
I, am the only one that has a book on the, on the, yeah. Appeals, thank you, I'm
Okay.
the appeals board. He has to call me to find out what's in my book, because he doesn't have a book.
That's
Is
right.
it the MMA?
I went to the class and they didn't give me a new book.
So you can't look at it online?
You can print it off online.
Right,
You
that's
can
what I'm
print it
saying.
offline. My point is this, there should be a set of
There
books
should
out
be
here.
books out there for people
There
to
should be
look
a
at.
set of each
But in
one
his,
that we might need out here for people to use.
but on his budget or on general government budget?
Well, that would be on his
Everybody to
budget,
use?
that would be on his.
And
You
he's
put it on mine.
Well, then why would it be out here for everybody to use?
Because
Well,
the questions on.
kind of for everybody to
questions
use.
on columns.
So my last question on that
Yes, go
budget
right
was,
ahead.
my last question was door magnets under printing.
Excuse me?
Yeah,
So we're getting, we have,
They do print that.
we have door magnets, we
the
have put a
door magnets
on
are
the
a
front.
neighbor for his vehicle,
Yeah,
that should
right.
let him know, that lets
So
somebody know.
printing is where they belong, or is it,
Yeah.
maybe, is that how you
Supplies?
do
It could go under
Big round?
supplies,
Okay.
under printing.
Okay. Again, that's fine.
I mean, I guess it is kind of
It's
printed.
printed.
Yeah,
It's a-
it's
You guys are looking
The
at
next thing, I'm done with CEO, I think you all got this like expense summary report for 2016.
Or,
Under highways, and you can actually see it under the highway department's budget as well for 2016, there is a minus 5,000 budget for photocopy.
Yes, I saw that was one of the things under the transfer station for 15-16, I
And-
don't
No.
understand.
And that year has been closed out, and a minus budget is like a plus. So you can't have a minus.
It's in the highway department, and what it looks like when you look at the detail report,
Well, they did it twice, they
yeah,
doubled
it
it.
looks like it got double tapped.
They added 5,000 to the budget, and then they subtracted 5,000 twice.
Yeah.
Right.
So they added 5,000 by accident, then they subtracted 5,000 twice.
So
But
they
the
need to
prob-
add another 5,000 equal it
But
up.
my point is that means you have to add 5,000 in here to balance it out, and the year is closed out.
And that's on the highway budget?
So that's on the highway budget.
All right, they'll.
What was that for? I'm trying to write this down.
Highway.
Highway budget under photocopies. This is the report.
Is it last
Highlighted
year's
one
chip?
there.
Are you talking about last year?
That was a summary report, and you'll see it also in the detail report.
Was there anything else?
Can I ask?
Yep.
Because I don't understand that.
That was it, Chip?
No.
Oh, okay. No, go ahead.
So here's what I don't understand about that. So
It's been a long
if
day.
we're looking at last year's budget to try to get an idea of where to go with this year's budget, and that's a minus 5,000, so it looks like somewhere in his budget, he has $5,000 that he didn't.
That's
Correct?
why we're doing the subcommittees.
Right,
So,
that's right.
all
That's why we're doing
All right,
the
let's move
subcommittee.
on.
Right,
I don't wanna beat it to death, I
I just-
Let's,
I
all right,
wasn't
let's,
asking
let's
that,
have
I just wanted to know how that would look.
I don't know.
we'll have to find out after the subcommittee's
I
done.
can definitely say something on that afterwards,
Yeah.
so.
Okay, go ahead.
Next, we're in the transfer station. If you look at the current year, on the current year expense report, when you look under the actual big number, which is the waste management number, you basically will see there's no July. So there's no July payment. And so I said, okay, well, let's look at 2016.
Yes.
So I looked at
that is
2016, and in fact, in 2016, there were 2 Julys. So you can't, so 2016 paid 1 extra month's worth of waste management.
Where are we looking?
So,
May not have that sheet unless you.
so you have it, that would be page,
So that was for 2015, there was no payment.
16.
that would be page 60, that would be page 67 and 68 of the 2016 detail report.
Okay. An extra month, and where was that found?
So basically, what I did is I looked here and I said, so we paid a waste management a 22,000 number on 7/1 of 2015.
Okay.
So that obviously was probably for June, but
Right.
our fiscal year ends June 30th.
That's correct.
So,
That should have been the first of,
so that should have been the previous year. So we should have paid that, that one should have been the previous year. That was the extra one. We didn't pay a 7/1 for the current month. We paid it for the previous month. And so my point is that maybe that was a fiscal year 15 error, but my point is that 2016 essentially had 1 extra payment
Right, the
for
budget.
waste management, and the current year is going to have 1 less payment. So when you're looking at your
We did that
budgets,
on an ambulance a while back, nobody complained much.
so when you look at your budgets, they're not gonna, 16 is gonna look like it's more than it really was.
right.
So just for the transfer station subcommittee, I don't know that.
Yeah.
I have seen
Is
that.
that-
I have seen that. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's it, I'm done. Thank you.
So you have.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Anybody, any other public, information request? All right, Corinna, we're gonna,
I
I
have a
wanted to
question.
ask Chip real quick if he wanted to be on our subcommittee for the CEO.
excuse me?
No,
Can I ask?
this history, I would prefer not to.
She asked him if he wanted to be on the
afterwards.
CEO
Okay, sorry.
subcommittee.
Oh, okay, I think,
We have a motion on the floor?
I don't know.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Adjourn the meeting.
Adjourn.
I'll second.
Yes, Mary, yes. All in favor?
Okay, so
Who
Jerry,
seconded that?
Who seconded
I
that?
did.
All right.
thank you.
I made the motion, I don't remember which.
John, first grade.